This is David Black. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona, talking about vehicular crimes and manslaughter in particular. When people are involved in fatal car accidents and they're accused of causing the accident because they were reckless, most commonly through speed, alcohol, or both, it's obviously a tremendously stressful situation. There's really no other type of crime where you have somebody who maybe has never been in contact with the criminal justice system before, and they're suddenly charged with a homicide. And so we take them seriously. We know how seriously these people and their families take them when they come to us, and we have quite a bit of empathy for them and frankly for victims too. So they're tragic situations that need to be handled with extreme care. What I want to do is I want to explain what the state would need to prove in order to get a conviction for manslaughter. In this case, we're calling it vehicular manslaughter. First of all, you should know it's not a separate crime. There is no vehicular manslaughter in Arizona. There's simply manslaughter. And the vehicle is the dangerous instrument or deadly weapon that makes it what we call prison mandatory. Manslaughter itself is recklessly causing the death of another. In Arizona, recklessness is described as a conscious, so I was aware of it, disregard of a substantial and unjustifiable risk that my conduct would cause a certain outcome. So what does that mean? Let's break it down. It means that I needed to consciously be aware that my driving behavior was such, or I was so drunk that there was a substantial risk that I was going to kill somebody and that it was unjustified. I wasn't trying to defend myself somehow with the car or had some other justification. You know, if they can't prove that, it's not manslaughter. Now, there is a crime called negligent homicide. It's less serious than manslaughter. And that has a little bit of a less direct, what we call a mens rea. So that's Latin. It's mental state. So a less serious mental state. And that's the state of criminal negligence. But for the purpose of this video, we're talking about recklessness, which is more serious than criminal negligence. So the state needs to prove both that the individual driving was reckless and that the recklessness led to the death. And those are two separate things. So an example of where the recklessness would not lead to the death. You know, your loved one was driving their vehicle. They were impaired. It was reckless. They shouldn't have been. They were driving, but they had the right of way. And a sober little old lady crashed into them. Well, here we have recklessness, but no causation. It didn't cause the accident. Okay, so those are the types of things that we're going to flesh out. With respect to causation, we hire experts. So we do not pretend to be mechanical engineers or scientists. We are lawyers. We make arguments. We don't make facts. We hire experts to help us make the facts. We do the same thing with the recklessness. So we're trying to establish if, in fact, you or your loved one was drunk, impaired, to use the legal word, and was disregarding a risk when they operated that motor vehicle, or did they do nothing wrong at all? And so we're going to use a different type of expert. On the one hand, we might use somebody called an accident reconstructionist to say, whoa, the state got it wrong. Your client didn't cause this accident. That's obviously what we're hoping for. Or a criminalist to say, these levels would not cause impairment. And frankly, looking at the field sobriety test, it doesn't appear that your client was impaired. These are the essential things that we're looking at for vehicular homicide, for manslaughter cases, to determine what our defenses are. This is the type of case where you can do an independent reconstruction. They're extremely serious, and so we really would encourage you at this point, if you're dealing with this charge or you have a loved one, to call any qualified law firm. We have handled lots of these cases. We do a very good job. We would welcome your call to us. Our phone number is 480-280-8028. Thank you.